Tacos de Dzik. It is a Yucatecan beef salad taco. This stuff is really good. The next page in our taco manual is going to take us to the Yucatan Peninsula, to a dish that is not very well known outside that region. It's called Dzik, D-Z-I-K, and in olden days it was made with venison that was hunted around there. There's not really any venison left there, but the venison was cooked in a pit in the ground, so they called it venado pibil, or venison pibil. So you know cochinita pibil is cooked in a pit in the ground, and it was the same kind of dish, except that they would take that meat out and shred it and mix it with all kinds of fresh vegetables and serve it as a cool room temperature taco filling. You're going to love this for the warm weather because it's really, really satisfying. So we're stepping aside from the venison and we are going to go to another meat, beef, but a cut that is very, very easy to shred and shred really beautifully. So I have flank steak in front of me. That's what I would choose for this. And the first step here is to cut this into pieces. I'm going to cut this little tail piece off here. Cut this into pieces that are about 2-inch squares. So you don't have to be exact with this, but someplace in the neighborhood of 2-inch squares. And we're going to put it into some boiling water. I think I'll just throw this little piece of tail in there as well. I'm going to cut half of this red onion now and put that down in there. We've got a couple cloves of garlic. These are small, or 1 big clove. A couple of bay leaves. And then the other things that go with bay leaf, always in Mexico, are marjoram and thyme. That makes the bundles that they call hierbas de olor in the markets in Mexico. That's going to go in there. And then I am going to put a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to measure that. A teaspoon of salt here into this water. We are going to partially cover it and then let this just coast along at a gentle simmer for an hour to an hour and a half, and that's going to give us some really beautifully tender meat. That's what we have to have for this, so it's got to be easy to shred. But I'm going to let it cool in the broth because it'll give you the juiciest meat. So I will meet you back here in a couple of hours because we got to let this stuff cool off. Now, while this meat is cooling here, I'm going to do all the chopping that we have left. We've got some habanero chilies, we've got red onion, tomato, some farmer's market radishes that are rather large there, and cilantro. I'm just going to chop all those things into small pieces and put them on this plate here. Okay, time to shred this. Now, this of course takes a little bit of patience because I will tell you that the finer the shreds on this, the better the salad will be. If you pull it off in great big hunks, then it's going to not be the same kind of distribution of the meat through the salad. So from my experience, the best Dzik is always the one with the finest shreds. So I'm gonna be here for a little bit shredding the meat.
In my own little corner in my my own little chair. I can be whatever I want to be.
Ready to mix all of this together. You'll notice that I've cut everything very fine, especially that habanero. Now it's 1 to 2 habaneros depending on your heat tolerance, but this is the fruitiest, most delicious chili. So I would push it just a little bit if I were you. It's also supposed to be a sort of spicy beef salad, if you will. So we've got everything ready to go in here. I'm just going to scoop it all off of the plate here and in. And then I'm going to add to that a teaspoon and a half of salt. There's no salt hardly in anything, and when you taste that meat, you'll notice that even that teaspoon of salt that I put into the broth didn't really penetrate the meat very much at all. So I'll put that on there. And then we have a generous 1/3 cup of lime juice, always freshly squeezed, and we will mix this all together. Now, if that doesn't satisfy as a great summer salad, I don't think anything will. But I also have to say, when you think of it wrapped in a warm corn tortilla, it's even better. It's just so delicious. And it's one of the things that I like about tacos in the Yucatan Peninsula is that they do a lot of room temperature fillings in warm tortillas. And I think that combination is just really magical. Okay, so we've got that there. I've got an avocado that is ready to cut. What I'm going to do here is to cut around the pit, twist the two sides apart now, and then I'm going to make some slices here. I just need 4 slices because I'm going to show you something that's a little bit different, a little out of the norm for our taco manual. And I'm going to take 2 tortillas and lay them on our serving platter here. And then I'm going to lay a couple of these little gem lettuces here, because sometimes you have guests that are just not into the tortillas perhaps, or carbohydrates or whatever, but this will certainly be something good for them to use the little lettuce pieces there. I never tasted this, so I want to... Tangy, crunchy, super refreshing. Okay, now I am going to move this guy back over here and take some of this cool beef salad, go there and here. Our little gem lettuce, we'll get a small amount there as well. And then we're ready to put this avocado on there. You'll notice that I sliced it in such a way that the rind still stayed on it. So we'll put these slices over each one. That'll add a really beautifully creamy note to it. And then, as I like, to just put a few leaves of cilantro over the top. You don't really need to do that for color on the little lettuce wraps that I've made there. So I'm just going to use these on the tortilla version. And there you've got it. This is tacos de Dzik, a Yucatecan beef salad that's perfect for the summertime.